Welcome to the CrossFit Canada podcast, telling the stories of Canadian affiliate owners and coaches, and brought to you by affiliatevaservices.com, providing you professional admin assistance for your affiliate. And we have longtime affiliate owner. What I see, I just checked the map. It said 13 years. You'll have to update me if that is
Yeah,
correct.
2011. So we'll be coming up on 14, I guess, in November.
Okay, but Nate Beveridge from CrossFit Fraser Valley. So what I want you to do is, I mean, even though I just did, introduce yourself, and we always do question of the day. I'm going to go this. CrossFit Games will be part of our discussion today.
Sure.
Do you have a favorite CrossFit Games? And I'll leave that open to both you participating, because we'll talk about that being part of your story, but maybe just as a spectator, as a fan of CrossFit, anything like that. So name first, where you're from, and then, yeah, favorite CrossFit Games, if there is one.
Sure. Nate Beveridge. I own CrossFit Fraser Valley. We also branded as Hybrid Athletics. I wanted to marry a group of all my backgrounds in kinesiology, athlete development. I've worked with Olympic teams and pro athletes, playing professional sport myself, and then CrossFit. Put it all together in a hybrid of stuff. We also have physiotherapy and massage therapy and kinesiology here and stuff like that. 2011 was my affiliation year when we started. I kind of started CrossFit a few years before, year and a bit before that myself. And then games, I mean, obviously, the first thing that came to mind was the 2010 games. I believe 2010, yeah, going way back. Rich, missing the rope climb and that kind of stuff was, epic, iconic moments that I think, like he has said in his book and whatever, has led to him winning the next bunch because of that inspiration of it wasn't too easy. But on that event, sorry, I guess that day, one of my favorite parts was when they quarantined the athletes under the stadium, and brought them out. And it was such an iconic moment when Dave's like, all right, he's got the 10 athletes there or whatever, and they're standing by the big wall. And he says, okay, you're going to go up and over. You're going to do 21 push-ups up and over the wall, overhead squats, and then come
3, 2,
back.
1, go.
And it's like 3, 2, 1, go. And everybody just stands there. And then two dudes start doing push-ups and they're like, oh, crap. It was I just love the idea of CrossFit being general fitness that leads to our everyday life. And so for me, I'm just competing actually tomorrow in my first competition in 2 years since a knee surgery. And they give out the events so early now that people practice them and stuff. And so you kind of get good at the event versus I just love that thought of, hey, bring us out on the floor and be like, hey, you got 2 minutes. This is what you're doing. Figure out your strategy and go. And you just do it, right? Like that event chaos that they had in 20, I don't know,
Yeah,
18
17 or
maybe,
18. Yeah,
17.
Pat Vellner won that one.
Yeah, you don't know what's coming, just start going. And then, like Pat Prefontaine said, right? Uh, the only pace is a suicide pace. You just go and see what happens, right? And who's got the fitness to live everyday life, uh, not knowing what's coming. Just do it. Be
Yeah.
ready for whatever. I jokingly say to people all the time, training helps us get ready for the zombie apocalypse because we don't know what's coming, and so you got to be prepared for it all, right?
Well, I'm going to guess it's that mindset that helps you out as an entrepreneur and business owner as well, because you can have a plan, but at the same time,
Yeah.
that plan can go. My answer would be I was going to say 2014, with the last year Rich won the games, actually, ironically enough, when the double grace finished off, right? They did thick and quick right into double grace, and Matt Fraser was close to winning. And then Rich Froning does what Rich Froning does and brought it home. So very cool. So you said you affiliated in 2018, but started, or excuse me, 2011. I apologize. Yeah, 2011. And but you had started doing CrossFit a little bit before that. So talk me through. I love hearing the origin stories. If you remember your first workout, that's even better. But what were you doing in your life then, and when did you get exposed to CrossFit?
It would be October, November of 2009, I think. I had a client that was a model at the time, and he needed to kind of get fit and in shape without putting on a lot of bulk and stuff like that. And so we were just researching different ways to do things. I had done a lot of like power lifts, Olympic lifts, that kind of stuff through my football training as a football player through university and the pros. And I kind of found CrossFit and it was like, oh, what is this? This is interesting. I don't know what my like specific first workout is. I could tell you like the very first time I worked out without my shirt off when I was like, at first it was like, what are these guys doing? Like, what the heck? And then
Yeah.
we had mirrors in the place, and it was like, holy crap, it's so freeing and loose, but it was also like an adrenaline piece with it was like pull-ups and running and whatever it was. Um, but yeah, I kind of started then 2009, and then 2010 was the first year of the Open.
Right.
So my very first Open, I was actually down in San Francisco at Kelly Starrett's gym, CrossFit San Francisco, down there for a conference. Took a taxi to under the bridge. It was raining. It was double unders and snatches in the rain, basically, because their gym was just an outdoor tent. And this is a cool story, actually. I'll keep it going all the
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
Did the event, like did okay. I got a taxi. There was no cell coverage. I was Canadian, didn't have a phone. So I was like, oh, I'll stick around and whatever, and kind of judged a couple more people, gave some tips and tricks and whatever to a few guys. And then I was like, I got to get home. I don't know how to get out of here. There's no way of calling a taxi. And I just asked one of the guys, like, hey, do you have a phone that I could use to call a taxi or something? And the guy was like, well, what do you need to do? And I said, oh, I got to get back to my hotel and whatnot. And he's like, ah, I'll give you a ride. And I was like, oh, okay. Like I just met this guy 25 minutes ago and he's going to take me in his car. And then he's like, actually, where do you have to go? And I explained it. And we talked about where I was from and stuff. And he was actually getting on a plane to go to Whistler like in 2 hours. And so I'm from Vancouver, which Whistler's 2 hours away from us. And he's like, oh, you know what? We got to stop at my house and grab my wife and kids and have a shower and stuff. But why don't you just come over for a bit and have something to eat? And then I'll drop you off at the bus loop, like on the way that and take me to my hotel. And I was like, sure. So we get to his house. I'm sitting in his house and his wife and kids come in the door and they're like, hi, who are you? He's in the shower. And I'm like, oh, I'm Nate. She offers me some food. And I was like, after that experience, I was like, this is crazy. Like, if I was just at a Globo gym, there's no way that this would happen. Like, you'd have your headphones on, have your head down, and do your own thing. Whereas this community feel that was created at this place was somebody I'd never met before, but then we had this automatic connection right away. That was when I decided right then and there, like, I was humming and hawing about leaving my previous work to start my own thing. And that I
Yeah.
was like, okay, it's time. I'm opening a CrossFit gym. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to have. And that's been our goal ever since, is create that community um, that's second to none, right?
Yeah. And I mean, I feel like that opens the door already to the first tangent. I do want to get back into your professional background, but what's interesting, and there needs to be like a CrossFit Hall of Fame in a way, because for the tens of people listening who are maybe newer to CrossFit, don't understand, like, CrossFit San Francisco was kind of like an icon of the West Coast, but it was a shipping container with
Yeah.
like a tent above it,
Yeah.
and they eventually got to move inside. But I guess what fascinates me about hearing that story was, yes, your facilities are extremely important. However, fostering a culture and a community is timeless, and
Yeah.
clearly it made an impact on you.
Yeah, it was huge. Like Diane Chu was the head coach at the time that was there. And I didn't know who she was at the time, but I started seeing videos of her and I was like, oh, cool. She was my coach. And I was doing double unders in like a puddle basically because the water was coming in under the tent. And it didn't matter though. It was like just a cool experience. Um, that whole community feel and everything that happened from
Yeah,
it. And in hindsight, it's like a great memory that I have. But at the moment when I drove up, I was kind of like, where are we going here? Like, what the heck is this? Right? In
yeah,
the
yeah.
back of a parking lot. And like you said, it's literally a storage container and a tent that you'd have at a wedding or whatever with a handful of equipment underneath it. And you just let it rip.
Well, and then it's like, whether it was just K-Star, I mean, is the icon that he is now, and through so much hard work. But Kelly Starrett, Adrian Bosman, Carl Paoli, Diane
Yeah.
Fu, as you said, like, just a powerhouse of coaches that came out of that place,
Hmm.
because I think it was just a bunch of people who were really passionate about the methodology.
Yeah.
But so
Bosman's from the same high school as me, too, actually, funny enough.
oh, really?
Yeah. Over on
Similar, like,
Vancouver Island.
was there
Uh,
a crossover, like,
no, I didn't know. I didn't know him until I found out where he had gone to school. Yeah, I
Okay.
think he's a few years ahead of me. I think.
Okay. So you would you kind of mentioned you were thinking about making a career change, and this kind of really solidified it. What were you doing beforehand? You've already
So
mentioned.
I was in the industry. Yeah, like I
Okay.
was running a country club gym. Basically, it was the North Shore Winter Club here in North Vancouver. It was like a major hockey program, tennis program, just adult country club stuff. Good swimming program. So I was running the gym there, doing a lot of personal training. I worked with a lot of like national teams, our national wrestling team, Taekwondo. I traveled a lot with our snowboard federation, so I coached them in their dryland stuff and did some extra film work and everything. So it was cool because I'd get to snowboard like all August and September before the season even started in places like Australia. Funny enough, we'd go because we
Yeah.
chase the snow, right? So we'd be on the other side of the world in the off season. Um, so I really enjoyed all that stuff, but it was like, I wanted to have my own piece of dirt, something that I had for the future that I could pass down to my kids or have full control over, that kind of thing. And
Hmm.
it just wasn't working for someone else. It wasn't available. My boss was a great guy and the gig was great. We had an awesome membership at that club and everything, but it was like I had kids coming to see me for like athlete training from across the bridge, we call it. So we lived in North Vancouver and it was like two bridges away. Kids were traveling 45 minutes to an hour to come see me from the valley, come up for the Fraser Valley here. And I just felt like there was a hole for that type of development. Um, and then starting a CrossFit gym as well at the same time. So I did that. And then it's funny because the athlete development side of things actually grew pretty slowly because CrossFit was such a polarizing term for people, right?
Mm.
There was a lot of people that loved it, but there was people that just didn't know and thought it was dangerous or scary or whatever.
Yeah.
So my competitors would be like, "Oh yeah, don't go to that guy. He's the CrossFit gym. You don't want your kids training there. They're going to be doing snatches and handstand push-ups and cleans." And it's like, well, yeah, they might. That's what's good for them, but we're not just throwing crap at the wall. The methodology and the games are two different things. Um, so it took us a little while to grow that, especially because the first year that we opened, we made the games as a team. So
Okay.
our CrossFit side of things blew up big and got big fast, and that scared away some of the other stuff. And we've done a really good job growing the circle over the years and kind of bringing it all back together so that we
Hmm.
now have both sides of the equation, right?
That's cool. And I'm really interested in getting to the point of how it has evolved. But I think of this kind of evolution of affiliate owners, and especially from your time and beyond. The 2011 to like 2015 range, there was a lot of CrossFit Games athletes, either individuals or teams, that were also affiliate owners or even
Hmm.
seminar staff and affiliate owners. And it was, I guess, maybe not as many to look at it inversely. You don't have a ton of affiliate owners who are games athletes, but you had a lot of games athletes who were affiliate owners.
Hmm.
Describe what that kind of time frame was like in the CrossFit ecosystem, in the affiliate ecosystem, that is.
Yeah, you're right. Like you weren't a affiliate manager. Not a lot of affiliate managers just were like, "Hey, I'm going to make the games now." It was kind of like the games level athletes then had affiliates. It's kind of like in like playing pro football is only a half a year gig. You kind
Right.
of use the notoriety to help you have an off season job, whether you're selling cars or personal training or whatever it is. And so the games notoriety definitely helps you be an affiliate owner. And then, I mean, working in a gym and being there all day long allows you to get a lot of workouts in and stuff like that. Um, for us, that definitely was part of the process. I had a business partner before, and after we went to the games like 3 years in a row. And then uh, after like another year or two, I was like, hey, this has been a lot of fun. We work out lots. The gym's doing okay, but I'd
Mhm.
like to turn it into a business that can provide my family with a living and provide my coaches with a living too. Like pay them a good um, professional wage versus. I tell people this all the time. Originally, it was like, I want to change people's lives positively through health and fitness. And then I realized I can only help so many people personally. So that's why I opened a gym and I want to have good coaches within our team. and our family that can help more people so we can touch more lives through personal training, group fitness, whatever it happens to be. Um, but our industry was very much like, okay, well, the only way to make any good money is to have your own place,
Yeah.
right? So coaches come in, they get paid decent money. I say it's kind of like lifeguarding. It's a good job when you're a teenager, early 20s, but you're not going to do it for the rest of your life. You want to get a real career. Personal training and coaching was the same. I get paid 20 to 30 bucks an hour. If I want to make any more money, I got to branch off and be on my own. Well, I want to pay my coaches a good living wage so that they stick around longer, then my clients stick around longer, my business sticks around longer, right? If we can
Hmm.
grow the pie bigger, I can make a smaller percentage of a bigger pie instead of trying to scrape everything I can off of these guys and then move through new coaches constantly. It's better to provide them with a, like I said, a professional living so that we can continue to raise the standard of excellence so that they're comfortable, that they're taken care of, then they do a better job taking care of our clients, and our clients get more experienced coaches that have been around, tighter relationships, so on and so on. So in the past, I guess half of our tenure, 6, 7 years, that's kind of the way
Yeah.
we've gone, is professionalizing the business. And lots of people have gone in that direction, right? Like Two Brain Business and Little Big Gyms and whatever it is, all the other mentorship groups that come around. I did some work with Two Brain for quite a while. They
Cool.
did a good job of legitimizing and professionalizing and helping people uh, run it like a business. Because I can remember my when I did my level 1 certificate, um, there was a guy there and we were just chatting away, and I was like, "Oh yeah, hey, um, I see that you're getting certified. Like you can open a gym, whatever." He's like, "Yeah, yeah. What are you here for?" And I said, "Well, I've got a kinesiology degree. I've got my CSCS from the NSCA. I got a bunch of different certificates, and I'm just kind of looking to broaden my horizons and keep learning. And I'm really interested in this CrossFit thing." And he's like, "Oh yeah, I drive a truck. I'm tired of it, so I'm gonna open a gym." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And I think that's what some people saw CrossFit as, is like, "Oh, okay, you do a 2-day certification, now you own a gym. Like, how safe is
Yeah.
that?" And I mean, they talked about it's a free market. So that's my competitor. I mean, maybe he's great, maybe he's fantastic, right? That's the thing, is education is not always the be all end all. It's experience, it's care, it's how much you um, pour yourself into things, right? But that was kind of like a lot of the gyms. It was that way. It's like, oh wow, you can open a gym with $20,000 of equipment, and you get cheap rent in a warehouse way in the back somewhere, and now you have a
Mhm.
gym. But that doesn't make a successful business um, that's professional and legitimized, right? And so we've done that over the last 7, 8 years and really turned it. And a lot of gyms in our area are very similar to that. Like it's not as old school warehousey as it used to be. People
Yeah.
are definitely turning into more professional spaces and adding more services and stuff like that versus just being group fitness that runs and the gym's closed outside of class hours and so on and so on, right?
Yeah. Well, and that's it. It really is. I think one of CrossFit as a business's biggest kind of the biggest knock it takes, right, is that barrier to entry is so little, but it's also its greatest strength is that the barrier to entry is so little. And I dislike why people always point the blame at CrossFit to say like you make it too easy to have someone open a gym. It's like, why is that a bad
Yeah.
thing? When they fail to look at it, there is still an unwritten personal responsibility for us as professionals and affiliate owners to continue to work through the system and continue to professionalize, but also upskill ourselves and our coaches.
Yeah. Yeah. Constantly improving. Um, and getting better. And like you said, that low barrier to entry, there might be an amazing, caring, loving coach that's going to be a great business owner that just doesn't, like they've been hard on their luck or whatever it happens to be, and they just don't have a big nest egg of money to go open a restaurant, which
Yeah.
would cost tons of money, right? Or open a global gym and buy all this equipment that costs thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. And the cool thing is you see the model where people start in their garage. They got their own home gym and they've got 4 clients and then 10 clients and then 20 clients. And now it's like, oh, wow, I got enough money to open a 2,000 square foot gym. And then they get it filled. And then I got an 8,000 square foot gym. And that wouldn't be available to them if they had to open a $150,000 global gym right out of the gate because the funds aren't there, right? Doesn't preclude
Hmm.
them from being a great coach and business owner, just the fact that they didn't already have money to throw at stuff.
Hmm. So what's it? Let's speak on locations. You know, you've got this great wood background behind you. Have you guys always been in the same location, or have you moved around? Have you expanded, contracted? What's that like? That journey been like for you guys for the past 11 years?
For us, we've always been here. We kind
Oh,
of did
cool.
the Field of Dreams thing. Like, if you build it, they will come.
Yep.
Um, and like at the time that we did it, I talked to my partner at the time and said, like, there was this other gym that we had talked to that was struggling, and I think it was in Manitoba or something, and they were like four firefighters that were doing it on the side, or police or something like that, where it was like their side gig. And my partner and I were kind of like, oh man, like scary that they're telling us that it's not working, like it's not growing as much as they wanted. And I just said, you know what? Ours will work because otherwise our kids don't eat. Like, we're not
Yeah.
taking a side gig. We're jumping in with 2 feet. I don't have a backup plan. Like, I would have swept floors at the hospital, done whatever I had to do, gas station attendant, whatever, to make side money if I had to. But I was like, we're 100% full in on this, and so it's going to work because I'm not putting a safety net down there. I'm going 100% all in, and I believe in it. And that's the difference is, if you don't believe in it 100%, it's not going
Hmm.
to happen. Like, it's going to trickle along and not get there. And so you got to pour your heart and soul into it if you want to get where you want to get, right?
For sure. And you know, I would listen to Howard Stern, and he would interview musicians, actors, rock stars, whoever, and I always caught him asking that question. You know, like what was the backup plan if it didn't work? And 10 out of 10 would all say there was no backup plan.
Yeah.
Like you can't have that doubt in your head, but at the same time, to that can almost sometimes be the crutch or the shot in the foot, is if you try to do everything yourself, say
Yeah.
like there's no way this will fail because I'm gonna do everything. I'm gonna coach the classes, I'm gonna clean, I'm gonna program, I'm gonna personal train. That's almost a more ironically guaranteed way to fail. Would you agree?
Yeah, the burnout, right? That's the first thing, like Dan Martell's book, Replace Yourself or whatever. Like, take your easiest, lowest value job and get somebody else to do it. Pass it
Yeah.
off, share it, and try to build value hours. And if you're doing that all the way along, like obviously at the beginning, I clean the gym. Funny enough, I still like when my son's not in town, when he's away for school or whatever, I still clean the gym on Sundays. Got the Zamboni down there, and I
Yeah.
just love how it looks at the end. And so it's time for me to listen to a podcast or just think, pray, whatever. But it's not like something that I hate doing, and I have to clean the gym. We have an amazing cleaner that's here all day, every day, basically.
Yep.
We pride ourselves on trying to be the cleanest gym around. Um, but yeah, like those little things, you definitely have to have support from other people. So my wife was amazing at helping with the book side of it and all that kind of thing. Um, we got some good athletes in, and that's kind of the way that everybody staffed themselves early on, was your best athletes got certified and then traded some hours for coaching or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Coaching for memberships and stuff. And so that helped us get through. But eventually, yeah, you got to get off the floor all the time. Otherwise, you see those affiliates that have been doing it for 8, 10 years, and they're not really making any money, and they're burned out, and you're going to lose your passion for it because you're like, man, I'm not making any money. As much as I love what I'm doing and I'm being fulfilled by it, it's starting to add up and eat away at my passion and my armor that's there to want to be doing all this stuff, right?
Hmm. And you know, I took over my affiliate in September of 2019, so half the time that you have. But early on, I don't think my journey is unique to anyone. It's like I do want to do everything. I am excited. I have that fire, but then you feel that passion start to burn out, and you start to kind of smolder instead of blaze. And then as I've worked on doing less and less, I've really been focusing on how it's actually way more fun to do less and let the kind of both the team handle things, not from a delegation standpoint, that is important, but to be like, hey, we're doing this together. So how important is your team picking up the reins for you?
It's huge, right? Like, I just had a chat with a client this morning about culture and values and stuff like that. And we're going to do some redo stuff on those and make sure that we've got all the numbers hit and everything properly, because it's not one thing for me to say, hey guys, here's our values, live up to these things, versus
Right.
to come together with them and say, hey guys, what are our values? Like, obviously, I'm going to have some influence on that. I'm going to be making the final decisions and whatever, but letting them have input into it. I coach sports as well, and it's the same with my coaching staff. We're about to start our football practicing, and I'm like, I want your input at all times, guys. Everybody needs to be in. If there needs to be a tough decision made at the end of the day, I have to be the one that takes responsibility and makes those decisions, but it's my team that's on the floor with me or without me all day long. Like, we open at 5:30 in the morning and we close at 8 or 9 at night, and I'm clearly not here all the time. We
Yeah.
have two corporate affiliate or two corporate sites, and we have another boot camp gym type place another town over. And so between all those, I'm here, there, and everywhere. Plus the time you got to spend on computers and doing that stuff. Plus, these all these podcasts. This is my first one, but
The
my list is
podcast
big and
tour.
long for all tens of your yeah, viewers. Um, yeah, right. And so there's so much going on that you have to have a great team around you, and we're pretty
Yeah.
blessed with who we have and how much they care, right? And that's when I hire people, I tell them, like, I call it the give a shit meter, right? How much do you care? I can't teach a person to care about people. I can teach you how to teach the strict press, the push press, the overhead, the handstand. I can teach you movement stuff, but I can't teach you how to love and care and want to see other people succeed. And so if you're an amazing mover and a CrossFit Games level athlete, but you're selfish and don't care about other people, you're not going to be a great coach, right?
Mhm.
If you're a housewife that's never done CrossFit and you get into it and all of a sudden you're like loving this and you're such a caring, giving, loving, teaching, sharing, empathetic person, eventually you could become an amazing coach because we can teach you how to do all the fundamental movements and get you certified and stuff like that. So
Mhm.
there's a balance of that, right? Because people still see, they want to see the pedestal, like, oh wow, my coach is so fit, they're so good, they're so amazing. But we need to have a balance of, like, yeah, you have to be able to do stuff and move well with quality, but you don't need to be able to do 27 unbroken muscle ups to be a good coach. You need to have to know how to coach different drills and tricks and tips and stuff like that. um, but you got to care, because on the days that it's like hard to get in here and do the work, or you've been working at 5:30 every morning for a while, or
Yeah.
something went off on your side life, whatever it is, you still have to come in and be that beacon of light for people every single day.
Yeah, you kind of have to leave your stuff at the door.
Hmm.
But I was on your affiliate page on on CrossFit, the map, and from what I see, and there may be even some that aren't on your team listed there, but you have a rock star team. You have a couple level threes, a
Yeah.
few level twos, like, so clearly not only like building a team has been important, but encouraging or inspiring that team to level up has been important. How do you lead from the front? Do you push from the back? What's your philosophy on that element?
Yeah, try to be right in the middle, right? Try to
Sure.
be, obviously, you see those pictures of the Romans, whatever, the guy with the whip at the back isn't going to be successful, right? And then if you're at the front, you want to see, I like Jocko's idea of, like, you're in there and you have point people and stuff, but you need to look over top with a slight view of everything. You can't have your head down and be the point man all the time. Um, our team they're very self growth oriented, so they're always
Cool.
growing. We try to have staff meetings that keep us um, helping each other, trying to grow and develop through that. The company I worked for previously, Level 10 Fitness, they do a lot of like athlete development. That's where I worked with all the national teams with and stuff, and kind of grew through that. He was my strength coach, the owner, Anthony Finley, when I was in university, and he gave me my first
Mhm.
like gig as a trainer. They did a great culture piece, and it was all about that, and certifications and knowledge and sharing that with each other in the staff meetings. And so we try to have the same type of stuff where we're always learning and growing. um, Kelsey Jack, who's a level 3, Jen, we've got Alex Mueller has also started here. We've got so many great coaches that are high level coaches already, great athletes as well, but are constantly trying to learn. And so everybody's pushing each other to be the best we can be.
Mhm.
So we don't just fall into the trap of like, oh, this is how we always did it, it's always going to be the same. You can see that I mean, the games progress, the events get harder, all that kind of stuff. And then the methodology is a completely separate sidetrack that's being added to and grown all the time. You see people talking about rotational work now a lot more versus the straight linear that we've always had. Um, just leveling up our knowledge and our certification too is super important, but I don't like I pay everybody the same based on performance and everything versus
Okay.
I know some places do, well, you have a higher certification, then I'm going to give you you get $2 more an hour or whatever it is. I think that rewards people just trying to get certifications for the sake of getting the next pay grade up. I'd rather pay them based on performance. As well as our staff as a whole, as we level up and do a better job and our experience is better for our members and stuff like that, that's how we raise all the rates and the shares and all that kind of stuff with everybody so that they get rewarded on performance. Because you might get a coach that comes in and is just a level 1, but it's amazing, right? And you might
Sure.
have a
Yeah.
coach that's a level 3, they've gotten the certification, but they're really lazy or whatever it is. And
Yeah.
so how do you differentiate that, right? So
Yeah, that piece of paper is super hard to get, but then once you have it,
yeah.
it can be easy to rest on the laurels, and that's where I feel like, it's there's these kind of maybe plateaus or stops where someone's like, they do their level 2, it's a transformative weekend, and I truly believe that it is, but that's like, oh, I
Hmm.
never do the level 3, I don't want to go through that stress. Then they do the level 3, and it's like, well, what about the 4? Oh, there's no way I would go through that stress. It's like, but that's where the growth lies.
Yeah, yeah. Like level 2 is an amazing course. I've done it twice because you got to re-up every 5 years and whatnot. I haven't
Yeah,
done 3 myself yet. Again, time and whatever. But
sure.
I think the 2, and I encourage everybody who's a level 1 to do the level 2. Level 1 is amazing and it's great and it's super knowledgeable and everything, but the level 2 just pushes you out of your comfort zone. You're not only coaching people in front of an instructor, but all those people know what the heck you're talking about. And so it stretches you and teaches you uh, to self-review, to like it's really uncomfortable at first, so it makes you more comfortable. Uh, because you have to be. You've got to be an expert. You've got to fake it till you make it or whatever. Um, but try to be growing constantly so that we're always in charge and safely coaching people, right?
Yeah, and realizing, like, it sound I'm curious to dive into culture a little more because you've used that word twice, and I feel like, is whether it's the CrossFit nerds or, it's like your gym, they'll talk about, oh, our community's so great. I love the community at Hybrid Athletics. I love the community at CrossFit Aurelia. But from a business perspective, affiliate owners and coaches, I don't think they discuss culture enough.
Hmm.
And how would you differentiate culture and community?
Um, I mean, I think they go hand in hand.
Sure.
Your culture dictates the community that you have, and then that community then in turn builds the culture. So it kind of goes back and forth. If you allow if you allow negativity into your community, whether it's through certain members that have that type of stuff, like we've asked members to leave before
Sure.
because they didn't fit the culture or the way that they treated the staff or whatever. We've asked them to not come around anymore. We're not going to offer you a membership any longer because you treat our front desk staff poorly, or you don't uphold the standards that we continue to ask you to do, right? So that kind of stuff can really chip away at your culture if you don't take care of it, right? And within your coaching staff, same thing. If you allow coaches to um, gossip and stuff like that, right? Like anywhere that you go, whether it's an affiliate or any other business where people are together often and all the time, it turns into a high school type thing. It can very easily do that where there's cliques and gossips and drama and this kind of stuff, and it happens everywhere.
Mhm.
Um, but trying to lead from the front and stay on top of it, stay out of it as much as possible. But at the same time, you have to be in it a little bit to try to clean it up, right? Say like, look, as
Yeah.
a staff, we don't get into this stuff. We nip it in the bud. We clean it up. Um, I'm a no drama llama with that with my sports teams and stuff. I'm very much not into political crap with choosing teams and this and that and whatever. I think merit based action is the way that it needs to be. And I'm also very much I'm a direct person. So if there's like rumor here and rumor there, I'm somebody who will go, hey, who's involved in that? You, and you. Okay, let's get together right now. Let's talk to face, get it cleaned up, get it figured out because person A says this, and then it gets twisted like that, and then it gets over here, and then all of a sudden it gets back to A, and it's that person's fault, and then nobody knows, right? We all text. We don't get like the facial recognition of the
Yeah.
that kind of stuff, right? So you have to nip that stuff in the bud right away. But the culture, um, like I said, I'll when I have a new person come in, I'll say to them right away, like, hey, we believe we have the best facility, the best programming, the best coaches, and the best community. But if you went to any other facility and they didn't say that to you, then there's something wrong with them. They should believe that they have the best stuff too, right? And so what differentiates us in that? Um, I don't know. I think everybody should. I hope they all believe that they have the best of those things. We just know that we're correct in that. We're true to that stuff, right?
We just know ours is.
Yeah, right.
But it sounds like the culture comes from you, like not it's like not being content or not, but just always being like, how can we just be a little bit better? How can we
Mhm.
provide a little bit more value? How can we continue to progress? And carrying that into the staff, and I'm sure that carries into the members.
Yeah, yeah. Like my last year of football, when I was captain, we had our slogan was "Nunquam contentus," which was Greek for like never satisfied. Um, but I try to have a caveat in that like I always want to live my life being happy, right? So never satisfied has a little bit of negativity to it. It's
Sure.
like, no, no, no. We have to make sure we're just taking the positive edges of that. Like we're always striving to be better, but we're content and happy in the situation that we're in, right? We
Yeah.
understand that we're so blessed to be in Canada, to be able to run a business where I get to be in the gym all day long. I get to see people have successes all the time. They trust me to share their wins and losses and to kind of grow together and stuff. So I'm super blessed and happy within my life, but I'm always striving for growth, for progress. Like, I got 4 kids. I love being their dad. I love coaching their sports. I love watching them succeed in every way they can, but I'm always trying to be better. I'm a husband. I love my wife to pieces, and I think she's the greatest wife ever, but I'm always trying to be a better husband. Like, don't rest on my laurels of like, oh, yeah, I did that nice thing for her. I'm content for a while, right? I'm always
Mhm.
trying to grow without being like, oh, I wish my life was better. I wish my gym was better. I wish this and that. It's always striving to improve. And you see it in our fitness, right? CrossFit's exactly that. We're always
Yeah.
trying to get better. Like, hey, I've got muscle ups now. Cool. Well, can I be more efficient? Can I be better at them? I've been setting
Yeah.
this goal of a 225 snatch. Well, can I do it for a couple of reps? Did it look really nice, or was it just like okay? Can I clean it up a little bit? Uh, I think that bleeds itself right into it, where we're always trying to be better, obviously in our wads and in our strength and all the different things we're doing. And that comes over to our coaches trying to be better, us trying to be better. I understand I'm not the perfect owner. I'm not the greatest leader as a coach. And so I can always be better, and take responsibility, right? And move forward.
Mhm.
Um, I like a saying that I heard, which was like, it's amazing what we can accomplish when you don't care who gets the credit. I'm always looking to deflect credit to whoever did the big piece of this, the big piece of that, right? I'm just here to, like I said, scrub the floors and move the weights and do whatever needs to happen.
Mhm.
We've been lucky enough the last few years. We partnered with Festivus, which is becoming True Challenge, I believe.
Yep.
And Kelsey's taken the lead on that. She's 100% organizes the heat. She does some amazing work with it. My wife does a lot of the behind the scenes stuff, and I just do whatever they tell me. I'm just the gopher lackey guy that moves all the equipment and judges. I kind of head judge, and Kelsey's like, "Hey, I need you to do this, this, and this," and I'm like, "I'm on it. Great." And at the end of the day, she's done all this amazing work, and you can see how much passion she has for it. And the only thing I get up to do at the very end is say, "Hey guys, like Kelsey's thanked so many people. She's the one that deserves the most thanks here," and she gets a standing ovation, and people are crying, and it's just really cool to see, giving them the opportunity to have a passion that grows, and that we're just a small piece of that, as a gym. Um, like little things like you see couples that are created. We've got families that have been created here, right? People met
Yeah.
each other at our gym, they got married. Like that's a family that if my wife and I hadn't started the gym we have, who knows if those two people ever meet? Who knows if that family's ever created? We've had two of those over the years so far, and just the friendships that you see, right? Facebook, go for hikes, these people, that people. It's just super cool to see people come in, especially because they come in like they don't know it, they don't see it yet. They're like, "Oh, I
Yeah.
just need to join a gym." Like, yeah, okay. Oh, it's pretty expensive. Like, and I'm like, well, yeah, it might seem like that when you're coming from a $30 Globo gym, but there's so much more to it. Uh, and they're like, well, I'll just come to class and leave. Like, I'm not somebody who's going to stick around. I'm not really part of the community type stuff. I'm just looking to get a good workout. And you're like, sure, sure. But that's a selling feature. I'll tell people like, I'm going to contact you when you don't show up because I actually genuinely altruistically care that you show up. But it's easy for them to be like, well, you're making money off me. So if I don't show up, you're
Yeah.
not making as much money. And then same with the coaches. They're going to contact you, but it's kind of part of their job. So they're like, well, they're just contacting me that. But I'm like, but when, Susie that you met last week in class who doesn't get paid anything, she actually pays to come here. She messages you on Facebook. I'm like, hey, weren't in class this week. Where were you? You're like, oh, wow, these people actually like they actually care about me. They're actually worried about where I am, what I'm doing, what's going on, right?
Hmm. What's it's like what's cool about that is like you on the complete other side of the country, and I know these stories exist all over the world, like that's what's cool at like the kernel of CrossFit. And it's you've been around CrossFit a long time, both as a games athlete, as an affiliate owner, and there's so much discussion around it, especially now as we're recording this. It's middle of June. It'll air right before the games. I'm sure there's going to be an announcement of who owns CrossFit, but
Yeah.
so many people are, I feel like, sitting on their hands waiting for that announcement, opposed to like what you just shared is like the magic happens inside the affiliate no matter what.
Mhm.
We have the we have all the stuff. It's like this meme. It's like this person, a cartoon. They're like, it's happiness. It's like, oh, where did you get that? Oh, I made it myself.
Yeah.
It's like we can have that with our affiliates. What's your thoughts on that? It doesn't need to be a hot take or anything, but
No, yeah.
like,
Well, I mean,
yeah,
if you go back to obviously when Greg got into some hot water right before he sold and stuff like that, and it looked like CrossFit was gonna like shut down and be gone and whatever, like the possibilities, people were like, well, what's your opinion on all this? And I was like if CrossFit ceased to exist, it wouldn't change what we do on an everyday basis,
yeah,
um, because that's the magic in it, right? And so when people complain about like, well, what do they do for you for your affiliate fees and yada yada yada, I'm like, well, yeah, there's time they could do better for sure. There could be more resources. There could be stuff. We had Daniel Chofi come here for our affiliate gathering, and he did a great job
hmm,
sharing some resources with us afterwards and stuff, and great talks. And there's a lot of wonderful, amazing humans in the CrossFit sphere. So having access to them is awesome. The affiliate gatherings, the different things that they do are good. There could be more help, sure. Um, but like, if anybody complains about the cost of it, of like our affiliate fees, I'm like, really? It's like two people's membership for the year. So do I think there's two people in my gym that like to tell their friends that they do CrossFit and maybe
yeah,
wouldn't come here if we weren't officially CrossFit? Yeah, I'm sure there's at least two people. And then we can do the games and we're part of a bigger, broader community, and you get visits and you go, like my members go to Iceland and visit Annie's gym, and they go to Hawaii and this and that. And they're getting t-shirts and all, and it's like you're a part of a bigger community. And so regardless of who owns it, um, how they run it, whatever it is, what the games are doing, those are cool pieces and features, but
hmm,
it's what we do on the ground, on the ground level. The roots of CrossFit is in the affiliates every day. um, I wish there was maybe some more. I know some places have really good cross pieces. Here we don't have as strong of we're working on it, growing like a interbox community type
oh,
stuff
okay,
where
sure, yeah,
but obviously like it breeds its own competition, right?
yeah.
Everybody's vying for the same piece of pie and the same people.
But
We've
I
had
feel like
tons of
Festivus does that. Sorry to cut you off. Like we're a
yeah, no,
Festivus gym as well. Like
yeah,
Festivus is a great way to
yeah,
bring in really positive beginner athletes and expose them. And there's just nothing but so I feel like Festivus almost does that in a
yeah,
way
yeah.
too.
Trying to grow it, right? Like we've
Yeah.
had I've had people come through. I've had people that came in and pretended they were just doing an on-ramp, but I knew they were opening a gym kind of thing. This one
Sure.
couple purchased 10 sessions and they're asking me questions like, oh, why'd you choose that shape of rig? How many weights do you think you need? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, where's your gym going to be? They're like, what do you mean? And I'm like, I'm not stupid, guys. But I've had other people that came to me and said exactly that. Like a guy owned a gym one town over, close enough
Yeah.
that we'd compete a little bit. And he's like, hey, I own a gym. I'd like to do 10 personal training sessions with you, almost like a mentorship thing. And I was like, hey, thanks for telling me. That's totally cool. I know that I can only handle so many people inside my building. And if I altruistically want to change the world, if as many people's lives as possible, I can't have them all in my gym. I don't have room. So if I can help other gym owners level up a little bit, that's going to help them be better, which is going to help those people that go to those gyms have a better experience. And if that's the goal of it all in the end, then that's positive what I'm doing, right?
Yeah, it's I first heard it from Jason Khalipa, although I know it's not his saying, like the rising tide floats all boats.
Yeah.
It true. I honestly believe that as well, but I have no interest for people who want to stay at the bottom.
Mhm.
And I have no interest for people who want to stay at the bottom and then complain that CrossFit isn't doing enough for them, you know?
Yeah.
So back when I asked about your culture, is we're actually just in the middle of Bring a Friend Week, and I think we have 40 people who have expressed interest in coming. Maybe half will actually show up, but
Yeah.
we always look at that's a great piece of like the culture. So to your point of like we have couples that meet or someone comes in and they want to know about your services. It's like, well, one of the most important things to you, not now, but in 6 months, is going to be the walk after the 4:30 class.
Yeah.
Like those are the pieces of the culture that exist outside of all of the noise that is around them, you know?
Mhm. Like one of my favorite things is that if I took all my coaches out of the building and we have a front desk, so we have somebody who greets you as you walk in because we do have physio and massage. There's always somebody on the desk to greet you. But if
Yeah.
we removed all the staff from the building and just had the members in here, if a new person walked in, they wouldn't be in the building for more than 60 seconds before somebody came over and was like, hey, how's it going? I'm so and so. Nice to meet you. Your first time here? Because they look lost or whatever,
Yeah.
right? Like the community, the members would be like that right away. Like, oh, welcome. Let's see. How can we help you? So they take a big ownership in the space because we try to have that culture of community and family, and we're very, very family oriented. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's been fantastic that way.
It seems like it's switching gears, but I feel like it still kind of relates into it. It seems like one thing that has been important to you still for yourself is been maintaining your own level of fitness.
Mhm.
I feel like sometimes maybe that doesn't always get talked about as affiliate owners or coaches, that we start doing the thing more, which actually ironically leads to us doing the thing less.
Yeah.
So how is it? Is it your in your being to work on that? But then I'm guessing you have to make time for it, not find time, but make time for it.
Yeah, definitely. Like that's I get a lot of other affiliate owners are like, man, how do you maintain such a high level of fitness while trying to run a business and do all the things? And I think it's just prioritizing, right? Or
Yeah.
even within that, it's just being high functioning or whatever. Like I've got four kids. So my oldest is 20, he'll be 21 this summer. My youngest is 11. And so I'm running them to sports and coaching. I coach the two younger ones now, the two older ones aren't in sports anymore, but I've coached all their sports all along, right? So that adds into things. Running the business, keeping up stuff. There's a lot of things. I did my best work in university, got my best grades when I was like packed. We had my son
Mm.
my last year at university. I was playing on the football team. I was volunteering. I was working part time as a personal trainer, and I ended up getting straight A's. It's the only year I ever got straight A's in university. Um, Athletic All Canadian, academic All Canadian, all these different things. But it was because it was literally like you got to do this, then this, then this, then this, then this. There's no time to sit down and play video games and waste 2 hours or this or that. And so you kind of that leads itself into what I'm doing now. I also kind of ebb and flow a little bit. So I'll
Sure.
have like obviously we have the 5 year windows as games competitors. You just turn, like this coming year, I'll turn 45. So that'll be my year, right? I'll have my best opportunity to make the games. Maybe the next year you still have a chance. Then you get geriatric because you're in your third, fourth, and fifth year. So I've kind of done that where I'll focus on the business a little more for 3 or 4 years. And I'll have 1 or 2 years where I focus on, this was my plan. I say these words honestly, the first time when I was like, yeah, okay, I'm going to hammer the business for a bit and then I'll take a year to train for the games. And all of a sudden it was the open. And I was like, oh, shoot. I didn't really spend that time training for the games.
Yeah.
Luckily, from having done it for 15 years, I've got enough experience in my movement patterns and stuff like that, that's all kind of dialed in. The community, I tell them all the time, like we've got people that are really great at XYZ. We've got coaches that are super fit. So I just follow our affiliate programming, like what I do the programming for the gym, but I
Sure.
follow that stuff myself. And that's essentially what I do, besides a little bit more. I like running. So I'll run a little bit more, do extra cardio stuff, maybe a
Hmm.
little bit of the high level stuff as I get closer to competition, that we maybe don't program as often, muscle ups and handstand walks that don't come up as often in training.
Sure.
um, but yeah, that's essentially what I'll do. I adhere to the methodology of like when I'm doing a workout, that's I'm very good at, like I said, compartmentalizing. So when it's time for me to work out, it's time for me to work out. I don't have stress. I don't have any other thoughts in my mind worrying about stuff. I can usually put on some tunes and hit it, or I can do it in silence, whatever. I don't think you should need music to work out, but a lot of people
Mhm.
do. Um, but yeah, I go at maximum intensity in the moments that I need to train, and then the rest of the time I don't worry about I need to train anymore. And that comes, I guess, like you said, is it a internal thing? Yeah, my son, my 20-year-old son's pretty darn good athlete, so I'm trying to stay ahead of him, trying to keep going.
Yeah.
He just came back from Hawaii. He was there for school for a bit, and I was like, oh, yeah, let's do a partner WOD. And then halfway through it, I was like, oh, all right, he's been working out.
That's
So
very cool. Well, speaking of sayings, is there's a Polish weightlifter, Jerzy Gregik, who says, "Easy choices, hard life; hard choices, easy life."
yeah, 100%.
And it sounds like you're comfortable with uncomfortable. And what I mean by that is like, it's not that you seek out discomfort, but maybe far too many folks seek out some sort of level of comfort to
Yeah,
like loaf, scroll, do something, right?
yeah,
Realizing it sounds like you've said like those things don't actually bring me joy. They don't fill my bucket. If you withstand the or withdraw from them, you realize, oh, they don't benefit me that much. And your comfort from what I'm hearing is like, yeah, staying busy by engaging with your kids, passing the things on to them. Not to say that there's not some probably vacations and
yeah,
downtime sprinkled in there.
yeah. That's like funny enough, it's Jimmy Carr that was talking about it, the comedian. He's a little crude
Yeah.
in a lot of his stuff, but somebody asked him about kids, and he's like, what's your advice on raising kids?" And I've adhered to this all the time. Is like you said, easy path, hard life, hard choices, hard path, easy life. And he's like, love your kids and make decisions in their best interest. And he's like, not just your kids today, but your kids in 5 years, your kids in 10 years. So decisions you make today affect who they're going to be. So yeah, okay, your kid wants to eat candy and chocolate and junk food all the time. Sure, that's the easy, just give it to them. It's easy. They're not going to cry, they're not going to whine. But is that the best decision that you're making today for your kid in 5 years? Um,
Mhm.
Keeping them healthy, teaching them proper habits, that kind of stuff, discipline through things, and then consistency. Like a story that I always tell with my kids, I use my kids as example is, um, I grew up and like some of my discipline wasn't consistent from my parents or whatever it was. I craved the discipline and the consistency of things to where, like my son, I'll say, look, if there's consequences to actions, as long as they're consistent, I think it's fair. So if stealing a loaf of bread gets you 1 week in jail, right? But in old Germany, whatever it is, wherever you are,
Yeah.
you at least if I know that that's the circumstances, maybe it's okay. Like maybe the value of my kid eating and surviving, I'm willing to go to jail for a week to steal that bread and give it to my kid. I'm not saying stealing's okay. The example I usually use is with my son. I say, look, If you know that missing curfew is going to get you grounded for 3 days, and you're standing on that girl's porch at 10:58 and your curfew is 11 and you're saying goodnight to her and you get your first kiss and you miss curfew by 3 minutes, the consistency piece is I'm going to say, hey, you made the decision to stay past curfew. Good decision. Nice work. You're still grounded for 3 days, though. And you live with the consequences of your decision so that if everybody knows what the consistent responsibilities are in our lives and we stick to consistent consequences in those lives, then we know it's okay to make decisions one way or the other based on what the consistent things are. It's when people throw like,
Mhm.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
you're going to be grounded for 3 days, and then all of a sudden I'm like, actually, you're grounded for 2 weeks because I'm in a bad mood and I'm changing the goal line, right? It's got to be consistent either way, and it's worked with our kids really well. They were very disciplined. They're very good kids. They're very communicative with us. We're really good friends, but without being like, a lot of parents want to just be their kids' best friends, and they just give and give and give because of that. It's our responsibility as a parent to make the right decisions to raise them and help them become who they are, right?
And yeah, and I think for those listening, like I don't think the key is to get hung up on discipline.
Yeah,
It's to understand that, like, well, you're a Jocko guy, he had extreme ownership, and everyone went so far towards extreme ownership, they had to write the dichotomies of leadership, meaning
yeah,
like you have standard operating procedures that you follow all the time until the day that you don't.
yeah,
And then you go back to them. So what I think of, I worked with some business mentors, and I remember early on, I was like, "Oh, we added 8 new members this week. It's good. It's busy. It'll be nice to kind of cruise next week and not have to worry about things. Pull back a little." And they're like, "Okay, respectfully, the business needs to function all the time, the same
yeah,
way, no matter what. You don't get to add 5, relax, because you'll probably lose 3, and
yeah,
right. So it's not about adding members. It's not about discipline. It's about our mind or our thought processes to not try to justify or make up this goalpost that gets to be moved around. Is that more or less what you're getting at?
yeah. Consistency. Um, and like you said, you have to continue to make the decisions, but also, so like we just finished a corporate challenge with some people, and I'm like, yeah, you need to make consistent good decisions to make progress. You can't be eating donuts every single day and this, that, and the other thing. So you make the decision now to have discipline to work towards the goals that you want, if that's what's important to you. But also, like when I saying back to coaching sports, like don't make mistakes. Don't, if you're playing flag football, don't miss a flag, don't drop a ball, but at the same time know that you'd made the mistake, wash it away, and move forward. Don't live
Mhm.
and dwell in the negativity of like, oh man, I keep making the bet. Oh, I ate the donuts last night. I guess I'm never going to reach my goals. Like, no, okay, you made that decision, live with it. Now push it aside and make the next right decision, right? Don't stress on the bad stuff and live in
Yeah.
a wallow in your pity or whatever. Acknowledge it and then make a better decision on the next choice.
Mhm. In conclusion here, what excites you about either CrossFit as a sport, entrepreneurship, your affiliate, your brand, your team training? What keeps you excited and fired up 15 years, coming up on 15 years into this thing?
Like I think there's so many pieces to that. Like I was going to be a teacher. I wanted to change the world positively. I thought that's the way I want to do it was through teaching. I also wanted to coach sport and stuff like that. And so teaching, as a teacher, you coach the high school team, whatever. And then I got into personal training and I realized that I could change more people's lives at different levels of where they were. A
Mhm.
grandma, a grandpa, a broken person rehabilitating, an elite athlete wanting to get to the next level, a kid. Like in our kids' classes, we call the athlete's edge, and we have a lot of kids that take their game to the next level, we say, right? And through sport and stuff. But it's just as rewarding to be. There was these two girls that joined our kids program a few years back. One of them works for us now. Our sister, sorry, works for us, there was boys at school talking about our gym program, and these two girls who were not athletes, didn't do any sports at all, were like, "Oh, that's cool. What gym do you go to? We could go there." And the boys were like, "Yeah, no, you couldn't go there." And so they joined out of spite to these boys to come to the gym. They'd never done any gym stuff before, and then they became like gym junkies. They loved the gym. They changed their health and fitness big time. And now the younger sister joined the gym, and now she works for us. And so that progression of stuff, that the gym
Mhm.
and health and fitness can change people's lives through like finding a passion for it, or um, changing the trajectory of like, wow, I was going to be unhealthy, I was going to be overweight, I was going to be whatever it is based on decisions that I made. I have a community now that draws me in, all these different things. That's what that invigorates me and draws passion to me, is that we can affect so many people's lives, particularly the youth, but we can reverse so many things in older people and stuff like that too. We had a member who actually had a heart attack on the floor here a couple months back. He should be dead. Like they said, we don't know how he's alive. Our staff and our members had hands on him within like 3 seconds of him hitting the floor, gave him CPR, brought him back to life. He had no pulse. They brought him back within 60 pumps. And the doctors were like, he was so fit. That's why he's alive still, because he was so fit from CrossFit. But also, he had 85% blockage. But also, it's because they reacted so quickly and they cared so much about him to get hands on, get him taken care of right away. Um, so it was amazing. So that drew our community even closer together, right? That he's now alive because of all that stuff, right?
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, it's still it never gets old that we are in possession of the world's most elegant solution, or
Yeah.
the elegant solution to the world's most vexing problem. And maybe folks like to complicate it and realize that it's just the answers to the test are right in front of us. So on
Yeah.
that note, 3, 2, 1, time.